Greetings, fellow Earthlings, and welcome to the second, you heard that right, second, we didn't get arrested after one, episode of A Beardo and a Big-Handed Freak Weirdo Talk Film. The title of today's episode is The Nice Guys, comma, Noises Cinemagoers and Nipple Tassles. That's right, Nipple Tassles. And how you doing, Joe, man? What's up?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not bad. You're looking very tan today. Have you been anywhere sunny?
Nope. No, I have. I went to Morocco, and it was great, and I had a good time.
Did you ride any camels?
I rode a camel, and
How was that?
it was good. Thank you. Thank you for asking.
Thanks for letting me know. So I guess we should probably start talking about film/television. Is there any films you've seen recently you want to talk about?
Recently,
Yeah.
well, I watched The Nice Guys for this.
Yeah, but that's the main topic of the show. We can't bring that up now.
Recently, TV. I've been watching Last Chance You on Netflix. 6-episode series about football players in America that are like dropouts and they got behavioural problems and stuff like that. And this like university is their last chance to become professional players.
Is that a Netflix original?
Yeah, Netflix original. It's I'd say it's worth the watch. It's pretty good. You know, they're just they've obviously come from bad backgrounds and things like that, and it just kind of takes you through a whole season of theirs, and you meet all the staff and things that are helping them. It's it's definitely worth a good watch.
Purely fictional, or does it have any basis in reality?
No, it's real, completely real. It's a documentary. So
So it's like Making a Murderer,
yeah,
except making an NFL player.
making an NFL player. Well, it's you see them at the beginning and at the end of the season. So you see all the deals and stuff some of them get at the end and what some of them don't get. But it's definitely worth a watch, yeah.
Sounds pretty cool, man. I'll have to check it out. I'll tell you what I've just finished watching, which I found pretty interesting. Old Preacher on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
That's not bad. I don't know. Have you ever read any of the graphic novels? Because I haven't.
I know of the graphic novels about a priest who gets taken over by a demon or something, isn't it?
He gets like the power, one of the sort of the power of God in him, and he can basically anything he says, people will do. So if he says to you like, "Fist your own bum," you'll have to do it furiously. He doesn't say that to me.
He doesn't say furiously. They just do it.
No, I think they just like doing it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got Dominic Cooper in it, Joe Gilgan from This Is England, some beautiful lady whose name I don't know. So I haven't seen it before. It's got Jackie L. Haley, who's Rorschach in Watchmen.
Oh, okay.
Looking really creepy.
What, the little ginger rat boy?
Yeah, but he's bald in this, but his eyebrows are really funky. But from what I hear, I mean, I haven't seen the graphic novels, but it's supposed to be like dramatically different, like the format. But
Yeah.
it was reasonably enjoyable. It had some really funny bits in it. It's one of those sort of programs that looks like it's got potential, but
Yeah, the graphic novel's sort of on level with The Walking Dead, isn't it? In that it's sort of like an R-rated adult non-superhero
yeah,
graphic novel, non-Marvel, non-DC, but still with some supernatural stuff happening in it.
yeah, it's very much. I don't know if you've read any of Garth Ennis's stuff, rather. Sorry, but a lot of it is very like adult themed, and it's got like dark stuff in it. There's a character in it called Arseface, who's literally got a face like an arse, which is quite funny. But yeah, it's good. I mean, it's worth checking out. But
Yeah, I do mean it is on my Amazon watch list, but I just haven't got the time sometimes. I'll check it out.
thank you. I'm so glad.
Is that still coming out one episode a week, or did they drop it all?
It was coming out one episode a week, but because it's finished now, you can watch it all straight from the off.
Oh, okay. Have you watched Mr. Robot on Netflix?
No, but I've heard a bit about it. Have you?
I watched a few episodes of it. I couldn't get into it.
Apparently, it was really like a bit like over the top in terms of like terminology. And
Yeah,
it's really complicated.
The main character's a bit. I am very smart. You know, is very. Seems like he's got something wrong with him, but he's just seems a bit like an edgelord in real life. He's just like, I can't have friends because they're not as smart as me. People don't understand me. People don't get me. And
So it's just like Sheldon, basically.
kind of. But I just couldn't get into it. But it's got good reviews, and season 2's out now, so I might pick it up again, see if I can get into it.
Yeah, man, I'll have to check it out. I did want to talk about one thing. I recently I was on a trip to Ireland with my lady friend.
I did notice you've got lack of a tan.
Yeah, but it was actually really sunny out there. It's a beautiful place, but it's a bit expensive. But I got convinced to go and see Lights Out at the Cinemaplex, which I wasn't exactly keen on because it looked a bit like one of the crappy sort of jumpy, scary horrors.
I don't think I've seen any advertising for that film.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really know anything about it until it came out, to be honest with you.
Right.
It was all just a bit... it looked to be a bit like a Mama rip-off. I don't know if you'd seen that, but with like a crazy, just skinny-looking, terrifying lady.
I've sort of got a little bit disenfranchised with horror films at the moment because they just seem to go for jump scares and to frighten audiences rather than genuine, keeping you frightened throughout the whole film.
Are you talking about authentic suspense and atmosphere as opposed to just following a character into a dark room and then watch them turn around and then something appearing behind them?
Yeah, like make me scared of a character for half the film. Don't just have something jump out to make me scared. 'Cause that's too easy.
It does feel a bit of a cheat. And for the most part, this is what this film was like. But that's not what I really wanted to get into, to be honest. The film was okay. But unfortunately, I mean, in our last episode, I mentioned about how pleased I was with the behaviour of my fellow members, my fellows. But unfortunately, there was about 12 people in the cinema, and 3 of them happened to be these fat young chavvy girls who sat at the back. And as soon as they walked in, I sort of thought, oh shit, here we go. And they like immediately started talking really like obnoxiously and loudly
in Irish,
so it was unintelligible to the common man. And they were just blabbering on. I mean, they went quite for parts, but I wasn't really bothered about the film. If it was something I really wanted to see, I probably would have like kicked off and gone a bit mad. But I thought, what? I don't want to get stabbed by this girl, so I'm not going to bother. But all through the film, they'd been talking in that. But then in one glorious moment, I heard one of them start to choke on their food really loudly, and I just felt like that was karmic justice. I mean, I didn't want her to die, but I wanted her to like have real fear in her heart that she might die watching a really shit film. And that went on for like 5 minutes. And me and Jess just looked at each other and we were like, this is so good. This is better than the film. She's getting her just desserts.
Oh, wow. Was it a dessert?
I think it was. I think she must have just took a multi-pack of crisps with her because all I heard was just bags rustling and stuff.
Yeah.
Did my goddamn head in. And I was starting to like get my faith back in people within the cinema, and then it's sort of been shattered. And
I know you, as a man, likes to get the most out of your money, so you're expecting a quiet cinema for 2 hours.
Especially when there's only like 12 people in it. You're hoping the ratio is going to be fairly good and your chances... I mean, when it's busy, you're always going to get fuckers, but... Yeah, so that was a bit depressing, but...
You watched Batman Superman recently, didn't you?
Yeah, do you want to get into that now?
We're not going to get into it, but just... Two sentences on what you think, and we'll maybe do it on another episode.
I think we can give it like 5 minutes because I won't want to come back to it for a little while. Cause
because we don't want to get
revisit it. 2 sentences. Jesse Eisenberg should die, slowly followed by Henry Cavill and Kevin Costner.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say you're wrong, but I think Henry Cavill's between a rock and a hard place playing Superman, because he's quite a hard character to play. He's almost invincible man. But yeah, no, I think it was not a good film.
It was difficult to watch. I found myself the story was just a bit like blah, sort of like, oh, Batman's really angry, so he wants to stop Superman.
Superman's
really angry because he wants to stop Batman.
One very angry orphan versus another very angry orphan.
Followed by Jesse Eisenberg giving one of the worst performances I've ever seen given by a human being in any form. Not only acting.
Like he was trying too hard to portray a different Lex Luthor.
He was trying to be like this kooky sort of like... to me, it was like a shit mix of like Heath Ledger's Joker, and he reminded me a bit like he was trying to do like a Jim Carrey Riddler sort of. He had some elements of that where he was going like, "They're coming" and all this stuff. And I was just like, this doesn't work. You're not. The only film I've ever seen him in that I liked was Zombieland, and he suited that character because he played a pussy bitch, and that's pretty much what he is.
He's gets typecast a lot like Michael Cera in those sort of roles of just this kid that's scared of everything but is funny because he is scared of everything.
Yeah, it's just sort of like the megaphobia guy.
I liked him in The Social Network.
I haven't actually seen that yet though. So
It's worth a watch. I think he's pretty good in that. But once again, he's sort of typecast as tech little pussy bitch. Rather than
that's what he does really. But yeah, I thought Wonder Woman was okay. I think she had awesome music. That's sort of like when it started, that got me going. But other than that, it was just the same. Like
I didn't like Wonder Woman's music.
you didn't. I thought it was
No,
proper like.
I thought it was a bit. Every time she landed, they used it too much. Every time she landed, the camera sort of went lower to look up at her, and then this guitar solo played, and it just seemed a little bit too 80s, 90s superhero film for me, anyway.
I mean, I wasn't mad about any of it, to be honest. It was all pretty disappointing for the most part. I haven't got a lot of good stuff to say about it, really.
Fair enough. Well, I think that's enough for Batman Superman then. Don't want to bore people with what they probably know is a bad film already.
Nothing you want to add?
To Batman Superman?
Yeah.
No, because I'll just end up going off on a really long rant because there's so much wrong with it. Batman kills people in it.
Or he doesn't save them when he could.
That's my last thing. That is my only last thing about it. Batman throws a grenade into a room with two guys in it and then shuts the door.
And also, how many? I swear, Batman has about 3 or 4 times where he has like a dream and then wakes up.
There's too many dream sequences as well. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, let's not. It's too much.
We don't want to sound like we're bullying the terrible film.
Anyway, before we move on, Gene Wilder is dead. Died at 83 the other day for us, actually.
Yeah.
Probably best remembered by our generation as a star of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory when we were younger. The only other thing I saw him in was See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
With Richard Pryor.
Yep.
Classic. One
Which
of the
is
funniest
really,
films
really,
ever.
really funny.
So ridiculous.
And from what I can tell, he's just a really nice guy and a really good actor that's quite respected in the industry, and it's quite a sad, especially in the year we've lost other people such as David Bowie. It's quite a sad year for 2016. He's another cinema icon.
Yeah, I guess we're just getting to that time now where all of these people who have been so iconic for so long are just starting to reach the end of their lives.
Yeah.
Like they're getting into their 70s, 80s, 90s. But yeah, I mean, I loved him. I loved, what other films did I like of his? Was it Young Frankenstein who was in or something?
Yep, he was in, I've not seen Young Frankenstein, but he was in that,
really
yeah.
Funny. I remember that. He was in Blazing Saddles. He's been in loads of stuff. I can't think of it all, but what was it? Murder. Oh, what was it? Something. Haunted Honeymoon. That's the one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's so funny. You should watch that. That's a classic as well. But yeah,
it does make me want to watch his old stuff again. You know, the stuff that I've seen.
Yeah. So rest in peace, Gene. We love you.
Any news from the world of movies do you have to add before we move on to our main bit?
Nothing that I can think of.
Shall I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Use the interwebs because
I have a couple of posts I've seen that are interesting. The Jim Henson Company, famous for the Muppets, want to make an R-rated puppet movie called The Happy Time Murders.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yep,
I'm convinced already.
It looks pretty good. I mean, the still they've put out is a puppet sitting on the side, surrounded by human detectives, and there's a big fluffy bunny in the middle of the floor with all the stuffing ripped out of it. So I think there's room for comedy. There's a lot of room for comedy there.
Yeah, it could be funny. I mean, I'm not sure when this will be coming out. I'm pretty sure Sausage Party will have been released fairly recently. I've lost the ability to speak, it would appear, which is going to be like an R-rated animated film, obviously, with obviously, I say obviously a lot.
It is out now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how is that doing? Is it doing reasonably well, quickly?
On Rotten Tomatoes, I think last time I looked, it was polling in the mid-70s. So pretty good. However, there's been a lot of... Seth Rogen said he's been doing this for years and been planning it for years and I've been writing this for years and years and years and years. And people just saying that the comedy's quite basic. Like, they just call people douche the whole time, which in America is... another word for the top of a milk bottle or something. I can't like.
I thought it was
suck on.
I thought it's what you put up your bum to give yourself an enema. Is that not right?
I think it's off the top of my head because I'm not American. I think it's a common product, but they just use a lot of the same comedy, and it's sort of like very basic toilet humor and just sex jokes and that throughout. I think people were expecting something a bit more inventive. But I'll definitely give it a witch. I'll definitely be giving it a watch.
I'll be giving it a witch, and then I'll be watching.
I'll be witching it, watching
I'll
it.
be witching myself while watching it.
It's going to be worth a watch. I mean, Seth Rogen's pretty funny in most of the stuff he's done, even though he probably just sounds like he's high the whole time he does it.
That's the thing. You don't go to a Seth Rogen film expecting like some unique, groundbreaking comedy. It's going to be like stoner comedy, isn't it? That's what he does.
Yeah.
It's 15-year-old humour, but he does it quite well.
Pineapple Express was good.
Oh yeah, that's an amazing film.
Classic. Yeah.
Pineapple Express was good. What was the other one? Which he was in? Super Bad. I mean, I know
Superbad.
he's just a cop in that, but he's really funny in that.
Green Hornet.
I haven't seen that yet.
It's not.
Is it terrible?
It's not terrible. It's worth a watch, but it's nothing special.
I know that got panned quite hard.
Yeah, it did.
Are you ready to breach the major subject, or?
Yeah, I've not really got anything else interesting to talk about.
All right, so let's move on to it. This is The Nice Guys, released in 2016 and directed by Shane Black, who starred in what 80s classic with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Predator.
Oh.
You know the guy with the glasses?
Oh, right.
Pussy jokes.
Oh, okay.
Shane Black, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
He hasn't actually... I don't think he did that much other acting, nothing really big, but he also wrote the Lethal Weapon films. So you could see, like, coming into The Nice Guys, how he does, like, the buddy cop style.
No,
That's
yeah.
evident.
And, yeah, before we go into it, it is very good chemistry between the two main actors in this film. Would you like to explain what happens in the film and the characters?
I can explain that one of the characters is called Holland March, played by Ryan Gosling, and Russell Crowe's character is called Jackson Healy.
Yep.
I believe. I don't know the names of any of the other characters really off the top of my head, but
And the other star in this film, I'd say, is the daughter of Ryan Gosling, Holly.
Yep, she's really good in it.
She's amazing.
An integral part of it. But yeah, do you want to have a little go at describing the plot, or should I just...
You go for it,
condense
and
it a
then
little bit?
when you get it wrong, I'll jump in and tell you.
Basically, Ryan Gosling is like a sleazy sort of PI.
Yep.
He hunts people for money, but he also sort of rips them off.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Crowe's character Jackson is like a sort of a good guy enforcer, so people pay to like get him to hurt people who are like potentially going to hurt them, sort of.
And in the beginning of the film, you see him get paid about $80 to beat the crap out of someone that's sleeping with a 13-year-old.
Yeah. So that's the sort of guy he is.
That's the sort of guy he is.
And basically, some murders start happening, and Ryan Gosling's character is looking for somebody, and Russell Crowe's character is looking for him because he's looking for that somebody because he's been paid by that somebody.
So
it's
to
starting to get
elaborate
confusing
on
already.
that, Ryan Gosling is looking for a porn star who has died, called Misty Mountains,
Because
and
her grandmother still thinks she's alive, is that
yep,
right?
and he's made a connection to this other missing girl called Amelia. So he's looking for Amelia. However, Amelia has paid Russell Crowe's character to stop him looking for her.
Yeah.
So the way they meet is Russell Crowe just beats the crap out of him.
And breaks his arm.
And
He
breaks
ends
his
up wearing
arm.
that funny wrist. And then, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there are spoilers in this, but I don't know how much detail we can really go into because it's quite a long, winding story. But basically, the film then follows them investigating.
They essentially spend the whole film looking for Amelia.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people trying to stop them looking for Amelia.
There's dodgy characters trying to kill them. There's all sorts, because you find out that the plot weaves into like all sorts of industries, and it's a bit more like it goes into like politics and stuff.
Yeah. So the whole essentially reason, and this is spoilers now, is that there's a smog backstory going on where there's really bad smog and people can't breathe in the city and the pollution's really bad, and you find out it's because General Motors or Chrysler, whoever, have not been putting catalytic converters on cars, which would stop pollution. And you also find out that Amelia is a daughter of someone very high up in the Justice Department.
I think that's Kim Basinger's character, isn't
Yep.
it?
And she's involved and doesn't want it getting out that the companies know that they should have been putting catalytic converters on cars. So, but then she finds out that Amelia's like this rebellious teenager who's made a porn video where the plot would expose the motor industry as well as her mother. So it turns out in the end that it's the mother looking for her daughter the whole time.
And basically, hijinks and shenanigans ensue. Some people die, in hilarious fashion.
And it is a funny film.
This film is ridiculously funny. I mean, I haven't seen Ryan Gosling in Drive. I've seen him in what else have I seen him in? The Place Beyond the Pines. He seems to play like
The Notebook.
I've never seen that.
I've never seen The Notebook.
Thank God for that. But he seems to play like very just like cool characters who don't really say a lot, and they just sort of like smoulder a bit, didn't they?
In Drive, doesn't he just wear that scorpion jacket and just stare at the camera?
He does stomp on some guy's head at one point.
He does, yes.
But yeah, I think he has about 8 lines in that film. But in this, he's actually he shows that he's actually a really, really funny comedy actor, and he's got the chops, and he's willing to make fun of himself basically, and it works well with Russell Crowe, I think.
Ryan Gosling, at points, absolutely carried this film. He had some of the best slapstick routines in the whole film, and some of the jokes he was coming out with and some of the lines he came out with was absolutely hilarious. For instance, there's a whole Hitler joke running through the whole film where he just makes all these little Hitler jokes and you just don't see them coming. For instance, they're at a kid's birthday party and he turns around to his daughter and goes, she says, "Oh, this kid's bullying me." And he says, "What, the one with like the Hitler moustache?" But then later in the film, they're saying they can't think of the name for the person without balls. And Russell Crowe's character goes, "I think that's called Ryan Gosling's character said, "Oh, I think it's called a eunuch." And Russell Crowe says, "No, you're thinking of Munich. It's a place in Germany." And then Ryan Gosling goes, "Oh, yeah, Hitler only had one ball." And he just makes Hitler jokes throughout the whole film. And at the end of the film, the Justice Department lady's trying to explain to them why everything she was doing was all right. And he just starts talking in German. And Russell Crowe just turns around to her and goes, she goes, "What is he doing?" And Russell Crowe turns around and goes, "I think he's insinuating that you're Hitler." Yeah. He just makes all these little Hitler jokes throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, that was funny and clever, man. That was fucking brilliant. One of my favourite scenes is where he's on the toilet and he's got a gun, and this is still, I think, before he's teamed up properly with Russell Crowe's character.
He just got beaten the crap out of by Russell Crowe.
And he's sitting on the toilet in this place, and Russell Crowe comes to find him, and he's trying to be really serious with Russell Crowe, but because he's got his trousers down, he's trying to kick the door open and keep it open so he can talk to him, but it just keeps on pulling back, and it's just really really funny
and
physical
then he
comedy.
drops his cigarette into his lap.
He starts burning himself. It's really well done. Another favourite bit. Well, there's a couple of favourite bits of mine, but it's where they go to this party where they're looking for the character, and he's chatting to these. He's getting really drunk because that's what he just does.
He has a recurring theme in the film where, for some reason, all their investigation seems to take place at a nightclub or a party or some
There's
sort.
a free bar as well.
Where there's a free bar, and they'll separate to look for clues, and he'll just sit down, and then a barman will go, "Would you like a drink? They're free." And he just sort of looks at him and goes in a way that, yes, I would love a drink.
And then the next time you see him, he's stumbling around. But at this particular party, there's because it's like a sort of, I guess, like a porn stars sort of party, so they're all like hanging around. They've got like this massive like swimming pool fish tank where you can see like this window.
Yeah.
And you see this girl swim past, and then you just see him swim past behind her.
Yeah.
With his suit on and that, and it just looks so funny. I thought it was awesome.
And then later on in the film, Russell Crowe comes up to meet him and he goes, "What have you been doing?" And he goes, I've been looking for mermaids. What have you been doing while I've been working?"
That's so good, because just after that sequence where he gets in the pool, he's chatting up this other girl, and they're on this balcony, and he's just talking to her, and I can't remember what happens, but he just ends up tonguing over
he's just drunk, and he goes up to her, and she's dressed as an Indian, and he goes, "I'm a cowboy," and he goes, "Shoot me," and so she shoots him, and he pretends to get shot. And then she shoots him again twice, and he overreacts and just tumbles down this cliff.
This huge hill where he finds a dead body at the bottom and
So
starts screaming.
His screaming in this film was hilarious, don't you think? Anytime anything ever went bad, he made the most hysterical screams ever, and every time he done it, it just made me laugh.
Yeah, he did have that awesome sort of wail. He definitely. I mean, I was really impressed. To be honest, I'd say this is probably the favourite film that I've seen this year.
Yeah,
I think
this will be a future cult film.
Yeah,
it reminded me a little bit of films like Napoleon Dynamite, just because the dialogue is just like two normal people talking, but it's also really funny. If you actually listen to what they're saying, it's just really funny, and there's just a subtext going through the whole film. It's just another buddy cop film, like you said. The guy wrote Lethal Weapon.
He also wrote have you ever seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
Yeah,
with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
he made that as well, and he also did Iron Man 3. So
yeah,
which I wasn't that much of a fan of it.
But
Yeah, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang was really funny as well. So he's obviously got that. And I thought another thing is, I think that he captured like just the 70s vibe and style like perfectly. This film looks like it was filmed then.
He got the 70s
costume,
perfectly. Yeah,
the music.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling's outfits are pretty insane. But I got just taking a minute off Ryan Gosling for a minute. Is Russell Crowe was a very good balancer. And I thought this halfway through the film that if he also acted like Ryan Gosling, like a slightly kind of madcap drunk character, it wouldn't have worked as well, because he's kind of the serious, grounded guy in the relationship.
Yeah. I mean, there's always that balance, isn't there? You need sort of like the straight guy to the crazy person, just to add like the actual like realism and levity. Otherwise, it's just two crazy people.
Yeah.
No, I think he does really well here. He brings like the sort of physicality. He looks a little bit tubby, but he's convincing as like a tough guy.
I think he embraces it. He's embraced the tubbiness and the weight he's put on. But he's getting, what is he, 50? Early late 50s now?
In his 50s, isn't he?
Yeah.
So,
So he's got to show it eventually. But he played his role really, really well. The chemistry between Gosling and Crowe was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And I could watch it again and again.
Yeah, I mean, I only watched it a couple of weeks ago, but I was considering probably watching it again in the next month or so. It's definitely something I'd buy.
Yeah.
And I think it will get a bigger following, because if you just look at, like, the reviews of it have been really good, but I just don't think it made that much money really. But it had quite a limited release, I thought. It
cost 50 million to make, and I think it's made about 10 million box office back on top of that as profit. So it's not done amazingly well, but that's what I said. This is why I think it'll be a cult film. It'll get onto Netflix or something like that next year, and then people will start going mad for it, because it was really good. Ryan Gosling's daughter, the character that plays his daughter in it, is brilliant. And I think the problem with some of these films sometimes is when you've got a little kid coming along, the adults try to dumb stuff down for the kid, but the kid's just obviously been in this home for so long with her dad, and she's just used to it. So like they go to like a porn star party, and she's hidden the boot because she wanted to go with him, and she gets out and she goes something along the lines of, "Dad, there's loads of whores and stuff," and just Ryan Gosling just turns back to her and goes, "Don't say and stuff, just say, Dad, there's loads of whores." It's just that sort of relationship with the kid.
Yeah, it's definitely more of like a more developed kid role, instead of just being like a standard child who just screams and reacts or whatever. She has some substance, and in some ways she's probably the smartest character.
Yes,
and she knows exactly what's going on.
So there is one scene where they're getting held up in a room by the Department of Justice assistant, and she's got a gun pointed at Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling, and they got their hands up, and the kid comes in the room with coffee and tries to throw it over her, but it just turns out to be cold coffee.
Yeah, that's really good as well.
She's like, why are you throwing cold coffee at me? And she went, "Oh, it must have been sitting in the hallway for a while."
Yeah, that was fucking awesome. It was just such a funny film. I mean, you know what I'm like as well.
Yeah.
I'm someone who's generally quite humorless.
A miserable bastard.
Miserable. I don't like most things.
People,
stuff, places, things you have to look at. But this I just genuinely enjoyed, and I think it's probably one of the funniest films I've ever seen.
It's nice to see another good chemistry kind of buddy cop film. It's nice to see it pulled off this well. And
because I can't really, I mean, there's been a lot of hit and misses as well. I think lately where they've done loads of stuff about 10 different films with Kevin Hart, probably.
Yeah, no, and do you know what? It's annoying because you see a film this good, and you're annoyed that it's not got more money. It's not made more money, because now there probably won't be a sequel to it.
Yeah.
Which there could be, and I'd watch it.
I think their story could go on forever. I mean, if you just, the only other buddy cop film, even though it's sort of like satire, that I've actually enjoyed recently would probably be like the Jump Street films. I found them quite funny. Jump Street, 21 Jump Street.
21, yep.
22 Jump Street. I thought because they are just like so self-parodying, and they see the ridiculousness of it. But a lot of other stuff, I think, what did they make? They made Cop Out. They made Ride Along. They made that one with they've just made so many. I must admit the other guys is funny as well, but obviously that's definitely like a full-on comedy.
I don't think the other guys did as well either at the box office.
No, I don't think it did that great, but that's one of my favourite Will Ferrell films. I know we're going off topic, but just getting into a bit. But yeah, is there anything else you want to say about this film? Or?
Yep, my other two favourite scenes in it. He's driving his car at one point and he's just really drunk and he starts falling asleep, and you don't know straight away that he's fallen asleep. But Russell Crowe turns around to him and goes, "Just let go of the wheel. The car can drive itself." And he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I didn't know it could do that." And Russell Crowe goes, "Yeah, they can all do that now." And he goes, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And he just lights up a cigarette and starts smoking it. And then a massive bee just appears in the back, and it's Hannibal Buress doing the voice.
Oh, yeah.
And
Hannibal Buress is in it as well. Yeah, that's cool.
And Ryan Gosling turns around and goes, "Oh, there's a bee." And the bee just sort of goes, "Hey, man." And he goes, "Why are you in the car?" And the bee goes, "Because there's so much smog. We just don't want to fly anymore. A lot of bees are just riding in people's cars now." And he's just...
I love Hannibal Buress. He's well funny.
But in that dream sequence as well, he imagines that Russell Crowe's got an ankle gun, a gun attached to his ankle, and he's taking the mickey out of it. And then he wakes up and they crash. And then later on in the film, when they're in that room with the assistant holding the gun at them again, he
tries to grab
he
his
falls
ankle
on the
gun.
floor and he's grabbing his ankle. And Russell Crowe's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he goes, I'm trying to get your ankle gun." And he goes, "I've not got an ankle gun." He goes, "Oh, was that a dream?" And he goes, "Yeah, it probably was, you moron." And
that's fucking awesome.
Just some of the lines from the film. At one point, he goes, "Look on the bright side, nobody got hurt." And Russell Crowe's character goes, "People got hurt." And this is after there was just a gunfight and just loads of people got shot.
Died, yeah.
And then he just turns back and goes, "I'm saying I think they died quickly, so they didn't really get hurt."
This dialogue in this film is so good.
The dialogue in this film, and when it turns out that Ryan Gosling hasn't got a sense of smell, and he turns around to him and goes, "You're a detective and you've not got a sense of smell." And he goes, "Yeah, what's wrong with that?" And he just goes, "You're the worst detective ever."
It's just... I might actually have to go and watch this film right now.
I could watch it again. I watched it last night, and I could watch it again. And I've got to say, the character I am most impressed by is the kid, is his daughter in it. She carried the role so well, really, really well.
Yeah, so I guess it's a bit like in a similar sort of vein to like Chloe Moretz Grace or whatever, sort of like that in Kick-Ass. I know she's not the same sort of character, but just pulling off like a very like mature, nuanced performance, but with all the comedy as well. I think that's hard for kids to do comedy like that's a bit more subtle. They have to have quite a lot about them instead of just doing like typical like stupid kid stuff. So yeah, she was really impressive.
What did you think of the villain? Or villains?
Because there was the assassin guy, wasn't there? What was his name? Was his name like John Boy or something?
John Boy, and he's called that because there was an old TV show called The Waltons, and one of John Boy in it had a massive mole on his face. And he's just called John Boy because he's also got a massive mole on his face.
He was quite good. He was scary. I mean, he killed a lot of people. He was vicious and that. I thought he was a good villain.
He was good just as a villain, but what did you think of the guy with the long hair that came after Russell Crowe to his apartment?
What, Blueface? I think that's what his credit.
Yeah, he's called Blueface.
What actually happens to him again?
He goes in to Russell Crowe's apartment because he knows... that he's looking for Amelia as well, and he knows that Russell Crowe's met Amelia, and he points the gun at him and he goes, where is she? And he's just going, "Look, I don't know where she is. You can break my fingers, whatever. Just look round if you want. You're not going to find anything." And he goes, "What's in the bag?" And he goes, "Don't open the bag." He's like, "What's in the bag?" And I'm just don't open the bag. And then he opens the bag, and it's like one of those money protecting cases that sprays blue on your face.
Yeah.
And so it just explodes blue on his face, and Russell Crowe just goes, "I told you not to open the bag, man."
Because there's also the other character, I can't remember his name, but he's played by Keith David.
Okay, yep.
And he was quite cool in it as well. He reappears later, but yeah, Blueface was...
He was just funny in it, because he just getting more and more annoyed at everyone, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was good. Any final comments on the movie, other than telling people to go watch it, because it's fucking awesome?
It's probably one of the best films of this year. Go watch it. However, the only thing that got to me a little bit was the plot was a little bit convoluted in places. It was kind of hard to follow. For instance, the first thing you find out about is this porn star Misty Mountain dying, and you don't really find out what connection she's got to Amelia until later in the film.
Yeah, you do have to concentrate, and I sort of had to like think about it all again to find out exactly what happened. But
Yeah.
the fact is, even if you weren't really that into the story, you'd just enjoy how funny it was anyway. That's the thing.
Yeah, and if you want
about the humour, really.
if you want to see Ryan Gosling actually be really funny,
I
definitely.
was super impressed. He should win a freaking Oscar for this.
He definitely deserves some sort of an award.
Even if it's just some sort of comedy shit. I don't think they do those, but we should invent it and he should get it.
It's is there been other really good funny films this year? Would you say?
I can't think of any. I haven't actually seen that many films that have come out this year though. I've been going back and watching a lot of older stuff, to be honest. I would have liked to have seen this film in the cinema. I think that would have been good.
I would have as well. I think they had an issue with when they brought it out, because they brought it out at the same time as other big films, but sort of it was in the UK. It came out around the same time as Suicide Squad, a little bit before it, and the Angry Birds film and Ghostbusters. So there was a bit of
sandwich between quite a lot of like big tentpole films, I guess.
Known brands. That's the problem, and this is an unknown brand. I'm getting. Well, Deadpool was this year. That was pretty funny.
Deadpool was really funny, but that's a bit different, isn't it? Because it's sort of like a known thing as well. It's not like although it's an original story and they did well to make it funny. We should do a Deadpool episode at some point as well.
Yes.
Coming up at some point.
Pop star never stopping.
That's got Andy Samberg in it from.
That's not out yet though.
9. I think you can watch it online illegally, but I wouldn't suggest you do that unless you want to. But yeah.
And War Dogs, which looks good. Have you seen the adverts for it?
Yeah, I think it looks okay. It just looks like Jonah Hill got fat again.
Jonah Hill and Miles Teller. And it does look good. It does look really, really good. Other than that, though, there's not really been a hilarious film this year. David Brent, Life on the Road.
I don't know. What sort of feedback's that been getting? Because
I don't know why he made that.
I'm sort of vaguely interested in seeing it, but I wouldn't really go to the cinema. It seems like something that could have sort of just come out like Film 4 or something.
It's 70% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Everything seems to be on 70% at the minute.
I think everything that's average just polls around 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, and if it's bad, it's just 10%. There's no middle ground. It's pretty good.
It's good, yeah.
It's good. Shall we end it there?
Yeah, I think that. Let's just say it's a fucking awesome film.
Just see it. As I texted you earlier, I was struggling to find anything bad about it. I was really struggling to find anything bad about it. And I think it's one of them films, I could go watch it again now, and I would see stuff in it that I didn't see last time, or hear stuff in it that I didn't hear last time.
It's a bit like The Big Lebowski. Every time I watch that, I see something new that I find really, really funny.
Yeah.
We should watch that as well. We'll talk about that at some point. But, thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to follow us on Twitter and Facebook, our pages should hopefully exist by now. If you just search for a Beardo and a Weirdo Talk Film, you're probably only listening to this if you're friends with us anyway, or you're at least vaguely interested in our strange lives, so you're going to know about all this anyway. But I am at Captain Beard 93 on Twitter. I think that's it. Maybe. Who knows? What are you?
At Joe Gids. I'm not spelling it.
Just spelled
nope.
Out? Is it spelled?
Nope.
Is it spelled Lito?
They can guess.
Lito. Jared Lito.
Jared. There's at least one D in it somewhere.
Can you find the D? Giddins did. Peace out, motherfuckers. See you later.